Good morning, dear students. Today I am present with the second part of Footprints Without Feet. In the first part, you see that Griffin, the scientist who had discovered a surprising kind of medicine taking which he could become completely transparent but solid just like a glass. This Griffin had tried to enter into a shopping complex. He had entered there, he passed the night there, but in the morning he could not run away on time. And when the employees of the shop came there, they found him and they started running after Griffin in order to catch him, arrest him, but they failed to do so. Okay, in this way Griffin ran away from them, he escaped from them. Now Griffin's next plan is to enter somewhere else. Let's see what happens here. This time he decided to try the stock of a theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Now, this time Griffin decided to enter into a theatrical company, a drama company. Okay, his hope was not only to find clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. Now, Griffin did not only want to wear clothes but also he wanted to hide, to cover the space above his shoulders. It means head. Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of the theatre world. Now it was completely cold winter season, the month of January. He went towards a place where drama companies were there in large, number. This place was Drury Lane. He went to Drury Lane, which was called the theatre world there in the USA. He soon found a suitable shop. He made his way invisible upstairs and came out a little later wearing bandages round his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy side whiskers and a large hat. Now you see, Griffin was a very, quick-minded person. He was a scientist. He had discovered a new kind of medicine. His brain was quite sharp. So he entered a very suitable shop. As he entered the shop, he was invisible, but when he started coming out of the shop, his feature was such. He was wearing bandages all around his head. Now, dark glasses, false nose he had, big bushy side whiskers and a large hat. समझिएगा इसको. चारों तरफ बैंडेज से अपने सर को बांध लिया था, चश्मा पहना हुआ था काला, एक नकली नाक लगा लिया था और उसके अगल बगल से उसने बड़ी बड़ी मूछें निकाल लिया था, है ना. इसको साइड विस्कर, साइड मतलब अगल बगल से बड़ी बड़ी मूछें, नकली मूछें लगा लिया था. टू escape without being seen, he carelessly attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. Now you see, in order to run away from that place without being caught or arrested by anybody, he attacked the shopkeeper, the master of the shopkeeper. He attacked him carelessly means unkindly, mercilessly, very hard-heartedly. So he attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. And he also collected all the money from the counter of that shopkeeper, and in this way he ran away with the money. Now you see, eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping. Now, after having attacked the shopkeeper, having collected the money from the shopkeeper, he wanted to run away from that city. So in this way he caught a train, and by the train he went to the village of Iping. Iping is the name of a village, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. He consulted the local inn. Inn stands for Dharamshala, Sarai, Lodge. Okay, so he went there and he booked 2 rooms in an inn. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. Now, every person who saw that it was cold winter season, why had a visitor come to the village of Iping in this intense cold winter season? And why had he booked 2 rooms while he could book just only 1 room and pass his days? सबके लिए सोचने का विषय था. ठंडी का महीना है, आइपिंग गांव पर एक बाहर से यात्री आया हुआ है और ये ऐसा व्यक्ति है कि इसको 2 कमरे चाहिए. तो 2 कमरे किस लिए चाहिए एक आदमी को जब अकेले रहना है? वो सब सोचने लगे, हैरान हो गए. सेकेंडली, द मैटर ऑफ सरप्राइज फॉर द पीपल वॉज दैट दे सॉ दैट दिस पर्सन वॉज ऑफ एन अनकॉमन अपीयरेंस. सेट ऑल टंग्स वैगिंग. अच्छा, a stranger of such an uncommon appearance had all tongues wagging. All the people who saw him, they started commenting upon him. जिन जिन लोगों ने इनको देखा उनको कुछ न कुछ कमेंट करना शुरू किया कि आखिर में क्या बात है कि ये इस तरीके से बैंडेज बांधे हुए है, चश्मा लगाए हुए है और इतनी बड़ी बड़ी मूछें हैं इसकी. तो सब लोग हैरान थे. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude." Mrs. Hall, who was the mistress, who was the wife of the landlord of that inn, उस धर्मशाला उस लॉज की जो मालकिन थी, वो इससे कुछ बातचीत करना चाहती थी, तो ग्रिफिन ने बात करने से टाल दिया. एंड ही टोल्ड हर दैट ही हैड कम देयर इन ऑर्डर टू लिव लोनली. उसने उसको साफ साफ बता दिया कि मैं यहाँ एकांतवास के लिए आया हूँ, अकेले रहना चाहता हूँ. I don't wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face. Griffin also told a lie to the people there, especially to Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife. He told her that he had met an accident due to which his face had been affected. उसने वहाँ पर ये भी झूठ बोला कि उसको एक एक्सीडेंट में चोट लग गई थी, जिसकी वजह से उसने अपने चेहरे को कवर किया हुआ है, बैंडेज लगाया हुआ है. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. Mrs. Hall, who was the mistress of that inn, she was very much satisfied with the answer given by Griffin. Secondly, she had to do everything with the money he paid. He had booked the room and he had paid the money. That's why she was satisfied for that. But the stolen money did not long, and presently Griffin had to admit that had no more ready cash. Now, the money which Griffin had stolen, you can say, or robbed from the poor shopkeeper, that money did not last for a long time. And now Griffin did not have that much money, and he needed the money in order to survive there for a long time. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. By the way, Griffin had a misconception that very soon he would get a check. चेक होता है बैंक चेक, जिसमें चेक के जरिए पैसे आदमी निकाल सकता है. अगर आपके अकाउंट में पैसे हैं, आपने चेक इशू किया है, तो वो निकाल सकते हैं. तो ग्रिफिन बार बार अपने दिमाग में गलत भावना लाता था, जैसे सोचता था खाली कि उसको जल्द ही कोई न कोई चेक मिल जाएगा जिसके थ्रू उसका खर्चा चल जाएगा, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ था नहीं. शॉर्टली आफ्टरवर्ड्स a curious episode occurred very early in the morning. A clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in their study. एक दिन तो दूसरी घटना हो गई. This was also a more surprising thing. Shortly, a little later, what happened? An entertaining episode, we can say, happened there. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife. Very early in the morning, there was a church priest and his wife. They were awakened by noises in their study. They were very much surprised to find some person in their study room. They were awakened. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. The clergyman, the priest and his wife, when they got up, so they heard that somebody was collecting money from their study room, and they heard the jingling of the money. Without making any noise and with a poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. Now the priest went and he took a poker. Poker is a type of iron stick which is used for stirring चारकोल एटसेट्रा और एनीथिंग बर्निंग. आग वगैरह को चलाने के लिए लोहे का जो स्टिक होता है उसको पोकर बोला जाता है. तो प्रिस्ट ने क्या किया, अपने हाथ में पोकर ले लिया और लेकर के जाकर के फट से दरवाज़ा खोला और वहाँ पर जाकर के चिल्लाने लगा, सरेंडर. देन टू हिज अमेजमेंट ही रियलाइज दैट द रूम अपीयर्ड टू बी एम्प्टी and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. Now it was very much surprising for the priest and his wife that they found nobody inside. But there was somebody inside. It means physically they could not view the person, but the person was physically present there, though the body was transparent. ग्रिफिन वहाँ पे था, वो पैसा चुरा रहा था, लेकिन उनको वो दिख नहीं रहा था. उनको कहाँ पता था कि ये एक साइंटिस्ट है और इसने ऐसी दवा डिस्कवर किया हुआ जिससे बॉडी ट्रांसपेरेंट हो जाएगी. Now, there wasn't a sign of anybody, yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. Now you see, they were very much surprised that the money which they had kept for controlling the expenditure of the house, that money was missing from there, but there was nobody present. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the entire day. The priest had been saying, it is an extraordinary matter. It is very unusual kind of happened with us. But it was not an extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. Now you see. By the way, the matter was extraordinary, but it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. अभी इससे भी अनयूजुअल चीज़ तो एक चीज़ हो गई थी उनके घर में कि उनके घर में, मिसेज हॉल के घर में जो फर्नीचर था वो भी गलत तरीके से बिहेव करने लगा था. कहने का मतलब क्या है, द फर्नीचर हैड बीन पिक्ड अप बाय ग्रिफिन एंड इट स्टार्टेड मूविंग इनटू एयर. फर्नीचर हाथ में ग्रिफिन ने लेकर के हवा में जब घुमाया होगा तो इनको लगा होगा कि फर्नीचर तो अपने आप घूम रहा है, भूत वगैरह आ गया। द लैंडलॉर्ड एंड हिज वाइफ वर अप very early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped around the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time. And stranger still, the cloths and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. The landlord and his wife were up very early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. Next day, what happened? Mr. Hall and Mrs. Hall got up very early in the morning. They were very much surprised to see that the door of scientist was completely open. Usually it was shut and locked. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anybody entered his room. Normally what happened? When anybody entered Griffin's room, he used to be very much angry with the person. And generally this room used to be locked, but today it was very much in the morning, early in the morning, it was open. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. Now they peeped around the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. Mr. Hall, Mrs. Hall ने देखा कि बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, चलो चल करके देखते हैं कि अंदर क्या है. The bed clothes were cold. बिस्तर जो थे वो ठंडे थे. Showing that the scientist must have been up for some times. ऐसा लग रहा था कि कुछ समय के लिए वो वैज्ञानिक साइंटिस्ट जो था वो अब कुछ समय के लिए लगता है जग करके कहीं चला गया था. Because you know very well, if a person had been sleeping shortly there, so that what is a bed cloth must be warm, but it was cold. And stranger still, the cloths and bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. दूसरी प्रॉब्लम क्या थी? जो बैंडेज वो पहनता था, जो कपड़े वो पहनता था, जो मूछें वो लगाता था बड़ी बड़ी, वो सारी चीज़ें कमरे में वैसे पड़ी हुई थी. All of a sudden Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. Suddenly what happened? Mrs. Hall heard somebody sniffing close to her ear. उन्होंने सुना कि कोई उनके कानों के पास में छींक रहा है. A moment later the hat on the bed post leapt up and dashed itself into her face. थोड़ी ही देर बाद क्या हुआ कि जो हैट बिस्तर पे हैट रखा हुआ था वो अपने आप कूदने लगा और उनके चेहरे पर जाकर के लग गया. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Very soon she saw that the chair of the bedroom became alive. It started moving, springing into the air. It charged straight at her legs foremost. Now you say the chair jumped up and it dashed over her legs foremost. उनके पैरों पर आगे की तरफ वो कुर्सी हवा में पहले उड़ के गई, पैरों पर आकर के लग गई. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. It was very much surprising for the husband and wife when they tried to run away from the room of Griffin. The chair from the backside pushed them to go away from the room. पीछे से उस कुर्सी ने उन सबको मारा, धक्का दिया और वो इस तरीके से भाग गए. ये वो लोग सोचते रह गए कि अरे ये क्या हो रहा है. मिसेज हॉल ऑलमोस्ट फेल डाउन द स्टेयर्स इन हिस्टेरिक्स, आउट ऑफ कंप्लीट कंट्रोल ऑफ मेंटालिटी. मिसेज हॉल वाज ऑलमोस्ट फॉलन डाउन. वो तो एकदम बेचैन हो गई, परेशान हो गई, बेखबर सी रह गई और वो लगभग गिर जाने वाली थी. शी वॉज कन्विंस्ड दैट द रूम वॉज हॉन्टेड बाई स्पिरिट्स एंड दैट द स्ट्रेंजर हैड समहाउ कॉज्ड दीज टू इंटर इनटू हर फर्नीचर. नाउ मिसेज हॉल केम टू डाउट दैट this stranger was very unusual kind of person and he had called bad spirits and the spirits had haunted her home. In this way her home was haunted by ghosts. My poor mother used to sit in that chair, she moaned, to think it should rise up against me now. Now Mrs. Hall started weeping. She started showing her sorrow, saying that this chair was very much closely associated with her. Her mother used to sit upon that chair and now the same lovely chair was attacking her. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. पड़ोसी तो सोचने लगे कि अभी जादू टोना, विचक्राफ्ट स्टैंड फॉर जादू टोना, सोचने लगे कुछ जादू टोना है, लग रहा है भूत प्रेत कुछ आ गया है. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. Now, very soon, burglary means attempt of theft, chori. Very soon, when it was discovered by the people in the neighborhood that in the priest's home money had been stolen, everybody suspected nobody else but the साइंटिस्ट. हर किसी को शक हो गया कि ग्रिफिन ने ही उस प्रीस्ट का भी पैसा चुराया हुआ है. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. Now you see, this suspicion came to become stronger when Griffin presented ready cash, because very soon he had admitted that he did not have money. So how did he get that much money so easily, even after the difference of 1 day or 2 days? The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs, she demanded. And I want to know how it is you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room. Now you see, without telling at all, without warning at all to Griffin, they suspected him, and they also informed the local police to come there.